guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Today we are talking about buildings, your big guide to all the different buildings you'll encounter in Wizards Unite and how they work. So we'll be using Wizards Unite Hub to help source this, so big thanks to Zerohan at Wizards Unite Hub. Definitely check the channel out for any of this information out. The website has a ton of other details related to the game. So first of all, let's talk about inns. Inns are the equivalent of Pokestops in Pokemon Go, but unlike that where we only have one type, or maybe two if you've got one spun and unspun, in Wizards Unite you have 5 different types of inns. So you can see the variety that you'll see here. We have green ones, pink ones with a teal roof, a blue roofed one, a red roofed one, and a purple roofed one as well. So what do these mean? What's the difference between them? As you click on them, they also have different looks from inside. So the inside of the houses kind of match a similar theme to what you see on the outside. Wizard Unite inns are the special map locations where you can recharge spell energy by obtaining food. Various types of food restore different quantities of spell energy, and the availability of food you receive can be determined by the particular features of the inn. Like the appearance of their rooftops, inns have a 5-minute cooldown before they can drop loot again. So very similar to Pokestops in Pokemon Go. There are 5 types of inns, each of which is available in areas of different inn density. Inns with better rewards give more food and with higher energy replenishment. Energy in this game will be what you need to cast spells. So if you encounter a foundable, every time you cast a spell, it will use up 1 energy. And likewise, in terms of when you're encountering fortresses and attacking in that, you're going to be using 1 energy as well. So going into fortresses, you're going to probably need a big amount of energy. When you're encountering foundables, you might be able to get away with like sitting on 10 energy left and dealing with them. But they're the equivalent of Pokeballs in that they are the things that help you to deal with your encounters. The 5 types of inns are green inn, purple inn, blue inn, brown inn, pink inn, and they all have different, they tend to remain in certain areas. So a green inn is more likely to be found in a rural area, which gives the best rewards, which is quite nice because it's like they have identified that in rural areas you might need more green inns because there'll be, compared to other areas where where there's lots of, in a city, I suppose, which is actually city area is going to have a ton of different inns, isn't it? That you might not have as many green inns. Purple inns are found in city areas, blue inns in mixed areas, brown inns in mixed areas, and pink inns are found in mixed areas, and they give you the lowest rewards. In order to get food from an inn, you need to enter it, trace the glyph, which is just a simple over the top, and bring one of the dishes towards you. The dish will open to reveal which food you summoned, and your spell energy will be automatically refilled. So here we can see an image of where you trace the glyph, and in the process you get a random dish that is associated with energy. So the different foods that you'll get from these dishes give different amounts of spell energy, and here is a list of the things that can drop. So you can get afternoon tea, which will give you 2 energy, bangers and mash will give you 5, Bertie Bott's every flavour beans give you 2. What I think would be really cool is like the Bertie Bott's every flavour beans had the opportunity to take away energy as well, just because they're Bertie Bott's every flavour beans, and if you get vomit, I think that would take some energy from you. Butterbeer will give you 7, so that's a really good thing to find. Fish and chips, 6. Honeydukes chocolate bar, pumpkin juice will give you 2. So the Honeydukes chocolate bar will give you 6. Tomato soup will give you 1. Turkey dinner is the best thing that you can find. Chicken dinner in some regions, and this will give you 10 energy. Violet pudding will give you 3. So you really want to be encountering the turkey dinners and the butterbeer to get the best rewards. Dark detectors, in addition, you can use these on these types of buildings. So dark detectors are the equivalent of using lure modules. So if you place a dark detector, they can amplify in an amplifier, can be placed in an amplifier to reveal higher threat traces around the inn for 30 minutes. There can be up to 3 dark detectors active at the inn, so it's different to Pokemon Go, whereas you can only place 1 lure module. In Harry Potter Wizards Unite, you are able to place a max of 3 detectors, and they will increase the detection gauge, which will give you which will give you better rewards. So an empty one will create with 0 detectors. To get a low chance of getting rarer traces, high threat traces, you put 1 on. Medium chance will be 2 detectors, and if you place 3 on it, it will give you a high chance of revealing a higher threat trace. The in-game official description for these is the Ministry have repurposed dark detectors, attuning them to locate hard-to-find traces. Active dark detectors will reveal traces you wouldn't normally see in the area around the inn. Activate multiple dark detectors to reveal higher traces. Using 3 together may even reveal severe and emergency level foundables. So when you're using inns as a kind of means to find foundables, you really want to be using them as a team with other people that can place down detectors as well. So if you place 1, you're going to be you can't place 2 with the same account. You're going to need other people to place them, and it's better to really save them rather than to use your detectors on getting a low chance. It's probably better to go around, probably go to a city area where you can put one down where somebody may already have one and give you at least a medium chance of encountering a higher level trace. Now the next building that we're going to talk about are greenhouses. Greenhouses look like this building right here, not that one, but this one, where you can see there is a blue, almost bluey glass house, and it is a greenhouse. So this is where you will get special ingredients, and you can also acquire energy. So if we see this example of this clip where somebody's going up to this greenhouse, works just like an inn, that you will get energy from it, but you don't have to trace a glyph. In this one, you get given an option of 3 different potted plants, and you can pick one by just swiping up. Then it will reveal the energy that you'll get from it, and also an ingredient that you'll get from it too. These also have a cooldown time, as you can see, of 5 minutes before you can spin them. Once you have spun them, it'll also have a little orange flag which will indicate that you have spun from it. And now you can also see that before spinning it, before going into it, you will have no flag on it. But if we kind of fast forward a bit, we can see that after, you will see an orange flag on the top of it. So that will show you that it's still in cooldown, and when that disappears, that's when you're able to go there again and get another ingredient and some energy. Now the final building we're talking about is this giant one right here, the one which looks like a castle, and this is a fortress. Now fortresses have a lot of information related to them, which I've put in a specific video called Guide to Fortresses and Runestones, so definitely check out that if you want to kind of have an in-depth review of it. Now just a brief kind of description of fortresses. These are your equivalent of raids in Pokemon Go. So these are where you can encounter hard level bosses, which are AI based. So just in like if you go into a Pokemon raid, you'll be encountering an AI creature that you have to take down to get rewards from it. It works differently in that the PvP element, or at least PvE, so where you can teaming up with people. You can team up with players, but rather than all going at once, you go in at separate times, facing an enemy one by one. So what do you need to battle in fortresses? The equivalent of a raid pass in Harry Potter Wizards Unite is a runestone, and once you've got a runestone, you can click on any of these chambers. So here you can see Runes Chamber 1 and Rune Chamber 2. Now these are listed in like a hierarchy that get harder as you go down. So you have to unlock the previous chamber to be able to play the next one. So once you've completed Runes Chamber 1, you can then play Runes Chamber 2, and then so on to Runes Chamber 3. And I believe there's 20 levels of difficulty that you can play through. Now, once you click onto one of those, you can use a runestone, and that will start a countdown, which is where all the different players can then join in and help out. We have 39 difficulty for this one, and what you'll see in those different chambers is a different level of difficulty. Now, your runestones will have different levels on them as well, so the 1 to 10, and these will give higher rewards when you're using a runestone of a higher value. Once you've placed one and the timer comes down, you will then enter into a kind of lobby where you can see the different enemies that you have to encounter. So here we can see, if we skip back to 604, you'll see that here in this chamber you've got the one encounter with an acromantula there. Once you've unlocked perks for your character as well, these are locked here, but you can use them to place special effects that will give you buffs. So buffs to attack, buffs to damage done, damage to received, things like that, and these will help you in your encounters as well as your teammates. And once you take one, once you've clicked on it and started it, you will encounter it where you will be casting spells to take down the enemy that you're facing, and also defending from them at the same time. You can use potions in there as well. Once you've completed that, you'll go on to the next part of it. So they have different levels that you have to complete within it. This one has 2, and once you've completed taking down this werewolf, you will then go towards the end where you will receive rewards for doing so. Once completed, it will show you your rewards. So here you can see the person getting increasing their challenges points, getting max fragments for that, getting experience towards their level. As the Patronus goes down, we see victory, and you can get a reward of here you get a book for an entry into your registry. As I said, the higher the level of runestones, you will get better rewards. So these are level 1, and the color indicates what type of part of the registry that you'll get a reward for. So if you've completed a brown one, you'll get a trace from the Ministry of Magic registry. If you've completed a yellow one, this will give you, this is Magical Games and Sports runestone, so you might get a Snitch or Ron playing Quidditch. These traces will add towards the ones that you need in your registry. Apart from that, there is a lot more in-depth information about fortresses because they're quite a complex process in terms of the buffs that you get, what level you'll need to be to take down certain difficulties, and as I said, there is a full in-depth guide to that in a video which I will try to place in the description below, but you can just check through my channel. I'll probably have released this by then. Now, the final thing worth mentioning is not a building, but as you can see in the bottom left corner here, there is a flag kind of waving like that, and this is placed on what will be a grassy area in the real world, and these are basically your nests. So these will indicate what type of something from the registry you will encounter more of in this region. So rather than nests, which you kind of in Pokemon Go had to figure out with other teammates of people who lived in the area and kind of identify, oh, look, there's a Growlithe nest in this area. This actually tells you which type they are as you go past them, which will be pretty helpful in completing your registry, I think. Apart from that, that's everything you need to know about some of the buildings and landmarks. The only final thing to mention is that these will be based on points of interests, similar, so they use a similar system to Pokemon Go. Okay, well that's all the information that you'll need to know about the different types of buildings that you will encounter in Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Hopefully this has been helpful. If it has, please hit the like button and hit subscribe if you want to keep up to date with future content. That is all from me. See you guys soon.